Well, we're going to go back to Dublin pitch side because we can hear from the Bayer Leverkusen manager now. Xabi Alonso is alongside Jules Breach.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. Xabi, thank you so much for coming to talk to us. The unbelievable unbeaten run for Bayer Leverkusen comes to an end tonight. Did the game go differently to how you were expecting it?
Absolutely. For sure, we were not planning to have a bad day today, but for sure we had. It was not meant to be today. We could not cope with many difficult situations that we were preparing because Atalanta, they demand you so much. 1v1 situations, duels, but we were not getting the ball in the right positions with advantage because they do that so good, and we were not able to come back and to get that. So it was not meant to be. The unbeaten run, it has come to an end, but congratulations to Atalanta, they deserve it, so nothing more to say.
They showed a lot of courage, really, to be brave, didn't they? They can press really high and surprise them. There were quite a lot of turnovers when they're in midfield where they were really aggressive. Edison is in particular, you know, they were just really good today, weren't they? Sometimes you have to say the better team won, didn't they, today? They were just better almost in every phase.
Yes, I would say so. And once they scored the first goal, that gave them a lot of energy. Probably we have tried to play too many passes in the first zone when we should have played a little bit longer to attract the first one. But anyway, it was not about tactics, it was about today individually they were better and as a team as well. So learn from that. It hurts that it comes in a big day, the defeat. But we have another final on Saturday and we will try to learn from today.
Physically, I was actually quite surprised how they were quite physical, weren't they, Atalanta today, into the duels. And obviously, when you win the duels, then it gives you a chance to counter-attack.
And they are very brave. They don't mind to be 1v1 situations. And we couldn't beat them in the last 30, even that when we had a slight chance to go one by one and to make the run, they defended very well, so we were not able to create chances. And yeah, it's not something that they are doing now this year. I think that with Gasperini, they have been doing that for the last years. They are a specialist, and they are very special team. So today, after so many years, they differ. Today was not our day. Normally, we get in better positions with our game, but today we couldn't.
I know losing this unbeaten run will hurt, but you must be immensely proud of what you've already achieved this season. The season's not over after 52 games. You know, you must be incredibly proud.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the result today doesn't change a bit.
No.
How proud I am from my players or what we are doing. You know, it hurts because we wanted to lift that trophy, but you can't get everything. We were lifting the Bundesliga on Saturday, and we'll have the chance to lift the Pokal on Saturday again. So yeah, it doesn't change the effort that the guys are giving. You know, after 51 games, we have gone to the 52nd. Okay, we have lost. This is football. The other ones they deserve, and we will have another chance on Saturday.
At such an early stage in your managerial career as well, has this gone way better than you were expecting it to go at this point?
Yeah, probably. For sure, it's yeah. I was waiting. Getting ready to do good things, but for sure this season it has overpassed all the expectations, and what we have achieved for a club as Leverkusen, it's great. And to be in the last week winning the Bundesliga, playing today, we couldn't make it, and going for the Pokal, it's unbelievable. So that means a lot. And first year as a coach, it's going quite well.
As a young coach, how can you get your team to be so kind of clear in that identity to play that way? Because from the outside looking in, it's so impressive how you guys kind of dominate in the game, in and out of possession.
Well, for sure it starts with a lot of work that we did, how to go, which players and which qualities we needed before the season, and we made a lot of wise and intelligent decisions, most of them right, and that's why we have been able to be so consistent during the whole year. It's not easy, but once the players, they feel the idea, they feel how they want to play, and that works, and that they feel it's a good one. That's when you have a treasure, and you need to be feeding that treasure, and you can relax. Till today it didn't work, but through all the year it has been phenomenal.
Xabi, can I ask what it is about this club and the structure that you found within it that A, made you want to stay and made you want to believe in it? Because the instinct of fans, media, is to say he should move on now. He's achieved so much. But what is it about the structure around you, the executives around you, that made you believe in this project, even beyond this year?
There are many things, for sure. I have said it. My first year, last year they came, or 18 months ago they came. I was no one in coaching, so they believed and they showed me that they gave me the chance. And we have a very good connection. Many players, they came. I went to look for them, and they came to the project. So it was just too early, and I'm happy to be here. I think that I have stopped to develop. For sure I will learn from today, and that's the experiences that we get to keep improving.
It's going pretty well so far for you, Xabi. Commiserations on tonight, but best of luck on Saturday in the Cup final. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Owen, what a manager.
What a guy, honestly. You know, how many guys come here after a game like that, after they lose, just to go and talk? So, and you know what? He's been in the game long enough to understand, you know, that the better team won today. You know, Leverkusen have an incredible season. They just didn't have their best today, and Atalanta did. Whether that, you know, and like you said there, you know, he'll learn from this. You know, as a young manager, he had an idea before the game what could work. He played Adli and Frimpong on the top of the pitch, Wirtz and behind, but it didn't really work. You know, they kept turning the ball over, they couldn't keep it. So, learning, you know, a learning one for Xabi. But what a guy! I mean, he's going to be one of the best without question.
Yeah, a very special coaching talent. No surprise, considering the guys he worked under as a player. A who's who of people who've won trophies like the one that Atalanta won tonight. And also, you talked about learning. Last year, yeah, he comes in as an interim coach. He reaches a Europa League semi-final, gets knocked out by Roma, comes back to this year's semi-final, knocks Roma out, reaches a final. That's progress. Let's see what he does in the Champions League next year.
When you see the way his Leverkusen side play, Owen, who do you think, out of the managers he's played under, that he's taken the most inspiration from?
That's a great question, Jules. I think
Thank you.
I think it's his own, you know. I think he's thought, look, Xabi sees football in a certain way. The base in midfield, spraying balls all over the pitch, smart, not the quickest, but quick up here. That's a hybrid of, you know, it's interesting. I said, how can you get your team to play so clearly in the way you want to play? And basically he says, I got players that can do these jobs on how I want to play. Today it didn't come off for whatever reason. I think that's down to Atalanta. But I think he's got his own little hybrid of all the guys that he's had. And he thinks, right, I'm going to take what they've taught me, but it's still going to be my blueprint. And that, okay, today it didn't work, but for the other 51 games, it has. And he's going to win a double. They got Kaiserslautern on the weekend, the second division Bundesliga team. This is a team that never won. To go and win 2 trophies in his debut season. Look, going undefeated would have been the icing on the cake. But it wasn't meant to be, as he said. But they're still on to an incredible season.
An unbelievable season. And by the way, just over to our left-hand side, the Atalanta fans have not moved. All the players still out on the pitch, a few of them doing media duties. They are going to have one heck of a party in Dublin tonight, Lindsay. They are not being moved.
And so they should. The best moment in their 116-year history tonight, beating Bayer Leverkusen. And for Xabi Alonso, an unusual situation for him this season. We're not used to hearing from him after a defeat, Peter. How do you think he assessed that performance and reflected on it?
Yeah, he kind of went into it a little bit and then stopped himself. He didn't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, I think there were a few issues. You know, I think they couldn't keep hold of the ball. You know, he talks about playing that little one in, trying to suck a midfielder in, and then going a bit longer. I don't think they had the ability to do that because they didn't have a recognised centre forward really. You know, it felt like at times, certainly I think it was the second goal where Adli kind of gave it away. I think that kind of summed it up. It was they didn't have the ability to kind of play through Atalanta, and that was credit to them. But yeah, I mean, listen, he's a fantastic coach. What he's achieved has been nothing short of amazing. You know, he will be lifting European trophies, be it by Leverkusen or somewhere bigger. He's chosen to stay at Leverkusen for next year, and I think that shows the measure of the man. You know, he will have had offers, but I think, you know, Leverkusen have taken a chance on him, and he probably feels that he kind of owes them one more year, and I think that's a kind of measure of the man. You know, I've the pleasure of playing with him, and he's he's someone that I admire so much, someone that has, values, and I think those values are why he's probably as successful as he has been in his first season in management.
And we don't know. They made that invincible Bundesliga season if he hadn't have committed his future, Joe, because what kind of effect that could have had on the players, we'll never know.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's a great, to come out and lose the final like that and to come and talk the way he talked. And he's not experienced this season. I thought he showed a lot of quality there. And what he said, I brought these players in for this project. So that shows great integrity. He's going to stay and see the project out. It might be one more year, it might be more. And so that is the measure of the man. Not something we often see in football. I think that hold him in good stead in the way he's doing. I think Wirtz tonight wasn't quite at it, and I think he only played 30 minutes at the weekend with his thigh injury. I don't think he was quite right, and I think that hurt him as well, because he's not only is he a goal scorer, he's also a player that gets them through the midfield, lets them play. But credit to Atalanta and their boys in the midfield. But he couldn't get him up the pitch very well tonight, Wirtz. He wasn't quite at it. But he'll learn, Xabi Alonso, and he'll become even better.
In the Coppa Italia. And that was because he had to deal with a big physical striker, someone that could turn you and put pressure on you, which is mind-boggling to see that Xabi Alonso wouldn't have started with a striker, whether it was Boniface, whether it was Schick, who didn't even come off the bench today. You need to have that presence to put them under pressure, to have a presence up there who can hold the ball.
But they put in Boniface and they had the same results, basically.
He still kept the ball.
A little better.
Strength of Leverkusen, that we'd never know what lineup Xabi Alonso is going to go with. So in some ways, hasn't that been the story of the season, these rotations?
Yes, but then when you're talking about consistency in a cup final and going with your best players, Victor Boniface is your best center forward. He showed that throughout his whole Bundesliga campaign. He left for African Cup of Nations. He gets injured. He found it difficult to get fit again in matches to finish it. Got 2 starts, so you felt his legs are under him. He's good to go. Biggest match of the season, you start him. Not idly. And Wirtz, yes, you have momentum in the way that they're dynamic. But in terms of switching the game up, because you need someone who can be a presence, who can hold up the ball. They didn't have any answers. So that reflects back to the preparation. You have Boniface as your 9, who can, if they're playing with 3, now you have Boniface as your 9, who can, if they're playing with 3, now he's going to have 2 of those guys with him because he's so strong. He can turn he can hold up the ball. But then you give Wirtz a little bit more of a free role. Then you have Frimpong in that wing-back spot who can make those late runs, and instead of starting so high, then he takes away all the space that he runs into. So for me, it was just the preparation in this game. Xabi Alonso got it wrong, and he doesn't get too many wrong late.
Well, speaking of Xabi Alonso, let's just listen in quickly, Nico, to what he had to say after the match.
It's very demanding to play against Atalanta. Lots of duel situations, very physical, and we were not able to overcome this first pressure and to get in good positions. Overall, when we had a little bit of advantage, they were really last pass with a little bit of space. Even in the last third, they were really intense, and we were prepared for that. But from the not from the first minute, from their goal, and even a little bit before, they have been over us. And today was not. It was not in terms of attitude, it was football thing. I try to explain the defeats as well in football terms, try to analyze that and better. So we try to first defeat in the season. It will be a test how we deal with it, because we have another big thing on Saturday.
Well, he's gracious in defeat, isn't he? But it's going to really sting, that one. He summed it up best. They couldn't cope with the...
I mean, he was spot on in his analysis. That first pressure didn't allow them to play. I see where he was coming from in the team that he elected, but it didn't work out because Atalanta didn't permit that. And the conviction with which Atalanta closed them down, suffocated them, didn't allow Frimpong to find the space, didn't allow Grimaldo to bomb forward, not even on a long ball. Usually, when do we from a stopped position or trying to bring a ball down? Never. We often see space. Cameras on him, he's already in 5th gear running after the ball. We saw that maybe once the whole game. And Xavi's very cold in the way that he analyzed the game. It's not emotional. It's a football thing.
Yeah,
Atalanta got it right.
I'd be that calm too if I went unbeaten. A full Bundesliga season. No, I don't necessarily agree with that because I think the attitude went with the poor touches, the poor missed passes that you saw. They believed they didn't have the energy today and they couldn't play out of pressure. They didn't try something different. If it doesn't work, right, try something different. You keep forcing it, that's insanity, which is what we saw from them. And so I think from that standpoint, as a manager too, he's got to be smart in the way that he talks. But I'm so proud of the group. You should be proud. You just went a whole season not losing in the Bundesliga, and you still have another trophy to play for. So, like he said, I want to see the response. In the Pokal final, they're not playing Atalanta. They're not playing a Champions League or a Europa League quality team. They're playing a Bundesliga 2 team.
Who's sitting in 13th place, by the way.
So from that standpoint,
for me,
they're not going to be pressing like Atalanta.
Yeah, Xabi, good. Buonasera, Xabi. Good evening, Xabi. How are you? What have you said to the players? That's your first defeat. It's something very unusual this season in a match where you had high hopes. Yes, Atalanta were better than us this evening. We can't say anything other than that. They deserve the trophy. We weren't able to play as we wished tonight. After the first goal from Atalanta, they showed a great deal of energy and we weren't able to find the solutions to counteract that. We were prepared for a number of challenges, 1v1 duels all over the pitch, but we weren't able to really impose ourselves in these 1v1 situations. We weren't able to fashion goal-scoring opportunities. Ultimately, it wasn't our day today. We've had a bad night. It's a shame. It really hurts that it's happened when we had such an important match, but we just have to accept it. Good evening, Xabi. You've made a lot of big decisions this season. You've got those right. How would you assess your decisions this evening? In hindsight, would you have done things differently? Yes, we'll analyse things after the match. Maybe we made some mistakes, me first and foremost. We need to rethink that and analyse things. There are a number of 1v1 duels where we came out second best. And at the start, we were trying to keep the ball in tight areas when we could have actually played it direct high up the pitch. But that's the way that we play. We like to mix things up with our playing style. Either way, we tried to really impose ourselves with the game plan that we prepared, but it didn't work out. And we had some issues that stemmed from that. Yeah, bitte.
Thank you. Hi, Xabi. 2 questions. How close to full power was Flo Wirtz today in terms of injury and coming back? And what do you think was missing from your team overall in comparison to Atalanta? Thank you.
Yeah, Flo was fine. For sure, in the last month, we have been cautious with him and he hasn't played that much and maybe he was missing a little of a spiel side of a game time, but he was fine, so no excuses. And we were missing many things. For sure, it's very demanding to play against Atalanta. Lots of dual situations, very physical, and we were not able to overcome this first pressure and to get in good positions. Overall, when we had a little bit of advantage, they were really strong on getting back in the position, so we were not able to give the last pass with a little bit of space. Even in the last third, they were really intense. And we were prepared for that, but from the not from the first minute, from their goal, and even a little bit before, they have been over us. And today was not. It was not in terms of attitude. It was football thing. I try to explain the defeats as well in football terms. Try to analyze that, but that doesn't change my thoughts and my appreciation for these players. It happens. It's football. Today it was not meant to be. It wasn't our day. They were better. So we try to first defeat in the season. It will be a test how we deal with it, because we have another big thing on Saturday.
Yes, please.
Hi, Xabi. You may have been asked this already in German. I mean, it's your first defeat of the season, so how does that feel? I mean,
well, normally it happens earlier in the season, but once it's the first one in such a big game, it hurts for sure. But we need to deal with this pain in a positive way, try to transform it in a good energy for the next thing. But it's football, and the normality is not to get defeated in the 52nd game. Normally you have much earlier during the season, so it's been quite exceptional what we have achieved, and we have to be really proud. Probably we need some time, but for sure, being today, it's painful, but it's deserved as well.
Yes, please.
Hi, Xavi. In this incredible season, absolutely, this team have learned a lot from winning games. Mm-hmm. But what do you think in the short term and in the long term this team will learn from this defeat?
For sure, we will learn. Everyone, myself as well. I know that I will learn, because these defeats in the final, you don't forget them. Because we had a big chance. We had put everything for today, but it didn't go as planned. We were not on our best level. Everyone, myself included, so we will learn from today.
With a hat-trick in that game, and when they opened the scoring, Peter, it was very much classic Atalanta in the way they were pressing and the way they were causing problems for Leverkusen.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they keep it in the box, they keep it alive. Came from a set piece. Once they kept it alive, then Ademola Lookman was just sharp. I think it was Palacios on the back post. He just got in ahead of him. He was on the front foot. He was waiting for the ball, and Lookman was on the front foot, got ahead of him, and that was them off and running. Yeah, you see it here. Yeah, it comes out wide. There's a nice bit of play once they kept it alive. And then, as you see, Lookman's on the front foot, and he's fast asleep there. He's just got to react. The moment you stay stationary in the box is the moment someone scores. You know, it's like he has to see that. And but credit to Lookman, he was sharp.
Yeah, it's what you're supposed to do as a winger. You're getting at the far post, and there's goals there, and he's added goals to his game. That's something he's done. The second goal was exquisite, though.
The fans will be watching this one over and over again, I think, won't they?
Yeah, they will, Linz. I mean, it comes from this sums up the game in the first half. Leverkusen sloppy, couldn't get out. Adley, Lookman picks the ball up here, and a lovely bit of trickery where he cuts inside. And then the decision, first of all, to take that time of finish is the right thing to do. Lookman picks it up here, shifts it inside of his right, outside, through Xhaka's legs. But the decision to use this technique here, he could have gone laces, or he could have gone side feet. There's a little mix of both, and he just caught it lovely. And it's just dipping, keeper no chance.
Hat-trick in a European final, Peter, with a little nutmeg thrown in as well for good measure.
It could not have gone any better, could it, for him? You know, fantastic. I think Xhaka tries to foul him on that goal as well, but it's a wonderful piece of skill and a great finish. But for me, this is the best of the lot. You know, great. They break up play again, and you know, I know Ali was screaming at Skamaka to pass it, and just the step over and the hit. It's the stuff of dreams, you know, like when you get the ball out there, you're playing for it, because 1v1, you back him against anyone. It's a little step over him, but once you've done the step over, you know, to then get the power on it, on the left foot there, the keeper has no chance. We were up, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, his first two goals for his club, the third goal was for the streets. That was like the cages of Wandsworth, you know, as a kid, I'm going to beat you. It was just raw talent and ability, all the things that we know he's got. He's put them all together. He was clinical tonight. 3 shots on target, 3 goals. Clinical. Outstanding. And it will be forever remembered as the Ademola Lookman final. And that young man, he's going to have a hell of a night in Dublin tonight, Len.
Absolutely. Did that third goal just come from the sheer confidence from the first 2 goals? The fact that he was just enjoying himself at that point. He was so full of it.
Yeah, you know, when you have a player like him, he's always had the ability to go past people. I think the issue has been maybe end product. You know, he's not had the numbers that you'd expect. He hasn't had the games, really. And you wonder why, and you start thinking, you know, maybe there's something in his kind of makeup, or there's something that the managers who work with him day in, day out see. But then, you know, the numbers last year were spot on. He was Atalanta's top goal scorer. And then again now, you know, he's always had that ability to beat someone, but has he got the end product? And tonight, 3 times, he's had the end product, especially that last one. That was an unbelievable finish.
Is it quite hard as players sometimes to really enjoy finals and get in the moment because of the pressure that comes alongside them?
Yeah, I do think that. But I think when you have a game plan like Atalanta have, and it's played out to absolute perfection, I think you can. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think Leverkusen really tested them at all. No. I thought they were comfortable throughout the game.
Yeah,
Atalanta.
Is that because they stopped Leverkusen getting any momentum though, and sort of managed to control their key players? They never really had a chance to get in the game.
Well, that's exactly right. They didn't have a chance. I don't blame Leverkusen really. There was a few tactical maybe errors that Alonso probably, when he looks back on it, you know, with not playing with a recognised centre forward. Really, I think they couldn't hold the ball up. That came with the second goal. But back to your question, like, did they enjoy it? I think they did. You know, because it's a final, loads of pressure, but I thought they were comfortable for most of it.
Yeah, you get a sense when you're playing and you know you're hurting the opposition and you know the game plan's working, and then you're getting more and more confident in what you're being asked to do because you're getting more and more joy. The amount of times they were just nailing onto Leverkusen, intense pressure. There was no one not doing their job. There was no one sleeping. So Leverkusen couldn't get. And the problem with Leverkusen, with that style of play that they have, is that when you're so, and this is any team that's so dedicated to one style of play, that game tonight required set back to the centre half, clip to the centre forward, get hold of it, and we'll play from there for 15, 20 minutes. And that would have possibly broken the hearts of Atalanta. But these lads are so drilled in what they do and they've had so much success. They didn't have that sort of plan B tonight. And then that might come with their next evolution. They'll know what to do next time they're in a situation where a team's pressing them that much, because Xabi Alonso will make sure of that. I've no doubt he'll be a top manager.
We spoke about Ademola Lookman's journey before the game tonight, and Charlton have tweeted as well tonight. Of course, he's the first player to score in a Europa League final, a hat-trick, and there it is there, the first ever player to score a hat-trick in a Europa League final, made in Charlton. And do we have to give credit to Charlton as well, Peter? Because a lot of people didn't give him a chance. He completely skipped the academy system, and they picked him up from Sunday League and saw something in him.
Yeah, you know, he's been found at Charlton. Like, you know, there's been a lot of good players who've come out of Charlton, to be honest. And yeah, I know there's certain people that work behind the scenes at TNT would be very happy that we're mentioning Charlton Athletic in the European final.
Never thought we'd be mentioning that on a European night, Charlton.
But yeah, I think
they might pick you up still from your Sunday League, Joe, and I've seen some of the goals you've been putting on your social media lately.
I'm still available, Linz. I'm cheap as chips now, though.
It's great, though, to see their pride in one of their former players.
You know, someone who's came through, like you say, I mean, he was playing Sunday League till quite late. You know, he's picked up someone, you know, there will be someone, I don't know the scout's name, but he'll be sitting there watching at home, or he might be out there at all. And these are the people that, behind the scenes, that people like, you know, there'll be someone that's brought Joe through or took a chance on Joe. I know there's plenty of people that I'd love to mention, you know, who helped me on my journey. And there'll be someone at Charlton Athletic who's brought Ademola Lookman into the setup there. And if he's sitting at home full of pride going, you know, that was something that I had a little hand in that. Obviously, it's so much to do with Lookman and how he's got to where he is now, but there'll be someone at home being really proud.
I'm sure. Lots of people, I'm sure.
Absolutely, Lindsay. And just because, you know, that's saying it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to make a football, and there's loads of people out there. You have big moments in your career, and you'll get a message from someone you ain't heard from for 10, 15 years. You may have coached you or helped you, and it does mean something to you, because they're seeing at home, and they're taking some of that from. They're so proud of what you've done because they've been part of your journey, you know. And it does mean. And tonight, that kid who's been on the journey he's been on, what a night for him and his family.
Congratulations! Can you just put into words what this means to this club?
I think a lot. It's a fantastic night, I think, for the club and for the whole staff, for us as a team, and we will enjoy it.
You seem to be at it from the first whistle tonight. Did it all feel like it just flowed and came together for you out there? Because you didn't let Leverkusen in the game.
Yeah, I think we analyzed Leverkusen really well, and the coach he gave us a really good match plan for today. And I think especially the first minute we was really aggressive and we pressed them really high, because we saw that they have some problems with that. And so we are super happy that we could score the 1-0. And then after the second 0, and then of course also a big thank you to Ade, to Lookman, with his hat-trick, and it's a fantastic game from us today.
How hard was it for you second half? Because you had to come off at half-time. What happened?
Yeah, I had before some problems with my muscle, and I said I want to go back to the pitch, but then after I felt like I cannot walk, so I decided then to go out, because then I cannot help the team. But I'm really happy that I could help the team in the first half, and of course we knew also that, especially in the last minutes, that Leverkusen is dangerous. So it was super important that we scored this 3-0, and now we enjoy, and I think no one will go to bed tonight.
Party all night, Saeed. Thank you so much. Well done.
Well, he lost the Europa League final with Arsenal against Chelsea in 2019, but lifting the trophy tonight, Atalanta's second trophy in their history. They were the underdogs, Peter, but really when we look back on the campaign, the way they beat Marseille and then beating the favourites Liverpool, the writing was on the wall then.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough road to the final, wasn't it? And, you know, credit to them. I think they played it to perfection. You know, we're going on about the manager, obviously, you know, for obvious reasons, because I felt the tactics were absolutely spot on. But the players have to go and execute that. And I think they were completely on the front foot, and the midfield was absolutely fantastic. When they needed to defend, they were unbelievably defensively. I thought they were always on the front foot. They never gave Bayer Leverkusen any time whatsoever on the ball, and they couldn't get into the game whatsoever. And we've seen that in the Marseille over 2 legs, and we've seen that with Liverpool over the 2 legs. So it's no accident. This has been drilled into them. They're obviously well coached, and they've become very good players in their own right. And now they're Europa League champions.
And Joel's got his iPad out. Joel, how did they force Leverkusen into an off day?
It was a masterclass in pressing, and people up and down the country and fans will be singing, press, aggressive, and they'll be wondering why their teams are not doing it as well as this Atlanta team. Look, first of all, there's 8 players in the opposition half, so they're getting numbers up. This is intent. But I'm going to just cast your eye to Rogeri. He's the most important person in this press. And the reason is because it's not just aggression. You have to, decision-making is it. So as they're locked on in these positions, all the front players are up. They're ready to nail on. His job's crucial here, because he has to make sure that ball doesn't get fed through to the centre forward who'll be just behind him. So he has to sort of split the difference and time it so he can block that pass or he can get out. And then it affects the opposition. So you have to be intense, you have to be on it, you have to be in people's face, but you also have to be smart. And they were so smart tonight. Here, there's Dawdle's back again, trigger, they all come up. Then, again, aggression into the front, and they won the ball. And this was like this all night. You know, this is again from the other's flank. Again, waiting on triggers, into the midfield, back. Now, they're in, they're locked on, all of them. Bang, and I'm going to just quickly have a look here. This is Zappa Costa coming in from his position. Now watch this for timing and intensity. Touch backwards, on it. Ball comes to Skamaka, he hits the shot first time, and he was absolutely brilliant at all times. Again, Lookman, the hero of the night, but he was brilliant at this all night as well. They're having to perform miracles because they're in the right positions. Now, they was good at this as well. Rogeri, again, I can't praise him enough. In this situation, Leverkusen have just turned it round. He's there. He's on with Frimpong. Now, if Frimpong manages to get hold of this ball, which a good centre-forward would do, turn it round the corner, then all of a sudden you would have runners coming from midfield and the press would be null and void. But the back 3, 4, 5, whatever way they found themselves, he was outstanding. He nails Frimpong here, win the ball back, and then they got forward on the attack again. And it was just a masterclass off the ball. It really was. And they're so well coached, and they're drilled, and they're intelligent. And there's about 3 or 4 or 5 players, I think, in that team that will be highly sought after this summer.
Well, they've got Champions League football to play themselves as well, so they might want to keep hold of them. I know Gasperini doesn't really know any other way, Peter, but are they brave tactics in a European final against that Leverkusen side.
Yeah, but I remember when they first got in the Champions League, and it was, everyone was shocked by the way they played. You know, they've been doing this for a number of years now. It's not some season they're consistently on the front foot. You know, he's so brave in the way he plays. But I think when you see it. In the way Joe's analysed it there, it's a great way of playing. It doesn't matter how good the team is, you know, if you've got players who are willing to press like that, and they're not just pressing. I've seen plenty of teams say they're pressing teams, and they get there and they wait to see what they do. They're getting there and making tackles. They're getting in there and getting in faces, and they're unsettling teams. And it doesn't matter who you play against. If you play that way, it's going to unsettle them.
And it's knowing that your teammate is going to be behind you in the right position. I've played in them sort of midfield positions. When you leave the midfield and you're going to press, you don't want to go there and think, if he plays it round me, I'm going to be out of the game here. Someone's not going to do their job. They just know. And then players will probably be... Gasperini would have probably drove them mad all season, all throughout, doing this. They must have been drilled. They must have been, because they're so good at it.
You see sometimes forward players throwing their arms up in the air when they've gone to press, and that's because no one's come with them. And sometimes, you know, you need to have the now. Sometimes it's not the time to go. But when you set traps and you do go, you want people behind you. But with Atalanta, they know that they're going to have backup.
Yeah, you can see the whole team, they're united in the whole city as well as a club with Gasperini. We're going to go back to Dublin now, guys, because we're going to hear